You know when you're scrolling through videos late at night and you just stumble upon something kind of weird? Like a totally silent video of someone in a forest building a shelter from scratch while it's pouring rain. No talking, nothing. Just the sounds of the woods in this quiet, methodical work. Well, if you've seen one, you're definitely not alone. This is a massive, and I mean massive, viral phenomenon.
And that's really the big question we're going to dig into, isn't it? What is it about these super quiet, deliberate videos that has millions of us completely hooked? I'll give you a hint. It's not really about learning survival skills. There's something much, much deeper going on here, and we're going to break it all down.
All right, so here's our game plan. First, we're going to define what this silent phenomenon really is. Then we'll get into the whole psychological trip it takes us on, from total chaos to this feeling of calm. We'll look at the story blueprint that pretty much every single video follows, uncover the sensory tricks that pull you in, and then, finally, we'll piece together the exact formula for viral success.
So, let's get right into it. What is this niche actually about? Because it's super important to get this. While the videos show you survival techniques, they aren't trying to sell you on them. Nope, they're offering something way more fundamental. The best way to describe this is immersive environmental storytelling. It's not a how-to guide. It's an entire experience. It's about letting yourself be transported to another place, a place where the goal isn't just to stay alive, but to create peace and order out of pure wilderness. It's all about the journey.
And that journey brings us to the core emotional engine of this whole thing. At its heart, it's a psychological shift from a state of chaos to a state of calm. And that feeling it delivers, that's what resonates so deeply with all of us.
Here's the core appeal, plain and simple. Every single one of these videos takes you on a powerful emotional ride. You go from a negative state to a deeply, deeply satisfying positive one, and it all happens without a single word being spoken.
This slide just lays it out perfectly. Look at this. The video takes us from the chaos of a storm to a feeling of complete calm. From being exposed and vulnerable to feeling safe. From cold to warmth. And, maybe the most powerful of all, from absolutely nothing to a place of real comfort. We get to experience that entire transformation right there with the creator. So how do they do it? How do they create that emotional journey? Well, it's powered by a really clear and consistent story. Every one of these videos follows a specific blueprint, and it's a story told with actions and visual change, not with words.
The main plot is always the same, and it's a primal one. You have a lone person who brings order to the wild. They take an empty, sometimes even hostile piece of land and, just through their own skill and effort, they turn it into a sanctuary, a place of safety and comfort. It's a creation story, really. Let's just take a classic example here, building a debris hut. It follows this super clear, logical path. First, you pick your spot and clear it out. Then you build the main frame, you add the smaller rib sticks. Then comes the satisfying part, piling on tons of leaves and debris for insulation. And finally, you finish the inside and plug the door. Every step is visible progress.
And this just shows you the payoff perfectly. We literally watch it transform from a bare-bones skeleton into this dense, insulated little home that you just know is going to be warm and safe. Seeing that progress is just so satisfying. That's the reward that keeps us watching.
But okay, it's not just about what we're seeing. A massive part of the appeal comes from how these videos are made to be a full sensory experience. Yeah, it's time to talk about the ASMR of it all. These creators are basically masters of sound design. They get that it's not just about what you see them build, it's about what you feel and hear while they're doing it. The crunch of the leaves, the sound of the rain, the crackle of a fire, all of that is engineered for maximum satisfaction.
So, and this is the really wild part. A lot of the time, the real thing just doesn't sound real enough for the camera. Foley artists have known this trick for years. That perfect, cozy fire you're hearing, the crackling logs might actually just be bubble wrap. That whoosh of the flame could just be someone rustling a piece of heavy denim. It's a completely artificial reality, but it's designed to sound even more authentic than the real thing.
So why do we crave this manufactured feeling of safety so much? Well, it's because we all know, instinctively, that the real-world stakes are incredibly high. Being caught out in the wilderness during a big thunderstorm isn't cozy. It's dangerous. You've got lightning, flash floods, hypothermia to worry about. These videos give us all the reward of feeling safe without any of the actual risk.
And this, right here, this is the ultimate reward. When you look at a finished shelter like this wiki-up, you feel this deep sense of security. It's the final shot, the visual and audio culmination of that whole journey from chaos to calm. It's the earned comfort that makes the entire experience so satisfying.
Okay, so we've looked at all the core pieces of the puzzle. Now let's put it all together and reveal the exact formula that makes these videos just so incredibly successful.
And make no mistake about it, the viral success of these channels is not an accident. It's a repeatable, it's predictable, and it's a finely tuned content machine that taps into some very deep psychological triggers.
So let's just recap the key ingredients we found. We've got the emotional journey, right, from chaos to calm. We've got the visual transformation of the environment, and we have that carefully crafted sensory experience, especially the sound. When you mix all those together, you get the final formula. And here it is. This one sentence basically sums up the entire formula perfectly. Let's break it down. You've got a lonely survivor. That's our character. Transforming an empty wilderness into a warm shelter. That's the story. In harsh environments, that's the conflict, and it all uses strong visual contrast and an emotional payoff centered on quiet comfort. That's the reward. That, right there, is the recipe.
Which really just leaves us with one final big question to think about. In a world that's often chaotic and complicated and very, very digital, we're finding a ton of comfort in watching these simple, tangible acts of creation and safety. So, what does our collective obsession with watching digital survival really say about what we might be missing in our own lives? It's definitely something to chew on.